What is the history of the for loop in programming? Imagine trying to do the same task over and over again without a way to keep track of how many times you've done it. That's where the for loop comes in. It is a control structure that helps programmers repeat actions efficiently. The for loop has its roots in the early days of computer programming back in the 1950s. The first ideas resembling the for loop appeared in a language called Superplan, created by Heinz Rudeshauser in the early 1950s. He used the German word für, meaning for, to describe a loop that went through a range of values. This idea influenced the development of ALGOL 58, one of the first languages to formalize the for loop. ALGOL 58 used a syntax like for I is equal to base increment limit, which means starting from a base number, increasing by a set amount until reaching a limit. Later, ALGOL 60 was created, making the syntax clearer with words like step and until. This version became very popular because it was easy to read and understand. Many languages that came after, like C, Pascal, and Ada, adopted this style because it was simple and powerful. Meanwhile, other languages like Fortran, developed in the 1950s, used a different approach called the do loop, which served a similar purpose. COBOL, created around 1959, used the verb perform with different clauses to create loops, but it was less like the modern for loop until later updates in the 1980s. By the 1970s, the for loop had become a standard way to control repeated actions in many programming languages. It allowed programmers to set a starting point, a condition to stop, and how much to increase or decrease the loop variable all in one line. This made it easier to work with arrays and do tasks that needed to repeat a certain number of times. When JavaScript was created, it adopted the C-style for loop, which looks like this. For initialization, condition, increment, code. This style is still used today in web development for tasks like going through arrays or updating parts of a web page. Knowing how the for loop developed helps us understand why it is structured the way it is and how it became such an important part of programming. For anyone learning JavaScript, understanding the history of the for loop makes it easier to see how it fits into the bigger picture of controlling program flow and working with data.